Hello. Hello. This is Katie Hamilton, holistic nutritionist and health transformation coach. And I come online every Monday to share information about our health, about what is causing health illnesses, chronic disease, challenges in the body, and to inform you about how to heal your body with nutrition and self-care tips. So I like to share the information and then take questions at the end. So if you have any questions and you pop them into the chat, that would be great. I will answer them at the end. Or if you come here in the future, then I will answer them and I will revisit this post, okay? So tonight's chat is about reproductive health for women, okay? And this is a really important topic to me and for my clients. Myself, I've suffered from challenges with really painful cramps and cysts and just continuing to build dis-ease in my reproductive area and not understand why. And my own health industry was not able to give me the answers to what was happening. And in fact, I have clients who come to me who were put on the pill to try to solve their problems in their reproductive system. And that is like a Band-Aid, but not even, because it actually worsens the problem because we're not getting to the root. So I'm so excited to be talking to you today about the root around these challenges that 9 out of 10 women are experiencing. That's a lot. And we have to ask the question, why? Why is our health so challenged, and why is women's health so challenged? And it's been this way for the past probably 5 or 6 decades. So we're going to talk about, I have a whole list of things here and really juicy information. So I will also be reading from my notes so that I cover everything and get the information into your hands. We're going to talk about endometriosis, PCOS, fibroids, cysts, breast density, infertility, UTI, yeast infection, okay? And so for decades, and it's still happening, the medical society is blaming and claiming that these problems are caused by your hormones. They are blaming hormones, and it's simply not true. Hormonal imbalance is a symptom of a deeper problem, and that's really important to note. There's many programs, there's many books, there's facilities that are built around this mistruth that hormones are the root of women's health issues when it comes to the reproductive system. And unfortunately, it is not supportive in many ways. And I went that route, I coached that route, and then I found and learned the truth, and I learned information that allowed me to help my clients on a much deeper level and actually understand how to heal and get out of pain and trauma. This can create a lot of trauma and anxiety and stress in our lives, okay? So the other blame is it's your genes. So your genes are faulty, your hormones are faulty, and you see what's happening here? You're being blamed. It's like body shaming. And that is the information that most women receive when they go to their doctors or their health practitioners and they come to them with their challenges around their reproductive system. So, this blame game goes back to the 1950s when specifically for menopause, but when a group of women were continuing to go to their doctors with these issues, and doctors created a hypothesis that, it's the stop of your menses when it comes to menopause, hot flashes, mystery weight gain, low sex drive, feelings of mood swings, not being able to sleep, all these symptoms. And And doctors were actually blaming, not necessarily blaming, but saying like, it's the stop of your menses. So we're going to call this menstruation or menopause. And it was very misleading. And it actually it allowed the doctors to get more pills into us because they put us on, or they put women of that age on hormone replacement, but that actually didn't solve the problem, okay? So again, when we blame the hormones, the antidote in the medical society has been throw more pills, more pharmaceuticals at women. And if you're younger and you come to the doctors with issues, they want to put the pill. So once they get the pill in you, then it goes to hormone replacement. And this has actually created a lot of toxicity in women's bodies. And so I'm here to share with you the root cause so that you don't have to look in that direction for help, okay? And to give you alternatives so that you understand that you can heal naturally without putting more toxins, which actually feed the problem. So one of the things that I talk about and is in other talks is celery juice, okay? So I'm gonna be actually intertwining this talk about how celery juice is so potent in helping you heal your reproductive issues. And at the end of the talk, I'm going to list a bunch of foods that are gonna be really helpful for you to integrate into your diet daily for you to start healing these problems, okay? Celery juice first of all, celery is an herb and it's so powerful. I've been using it for myself for the past 5 years and I have cleaned up a laundry list of health issues. And I honestly believe that I am just getting younger and younger and younger because I was not this healthy in my late 20s and early 30s. I just wasn't. And so a lot of what I'm sharing with you is what I've used for myself and then many, many of my clients. So celery juice goes in and it cleans up the root cause, which I'm going to share with you. And it also nourishes the reproductive system because our reproductive system needs nourishment. It is so deprived, it is so dehydrated, it is so full of toxins, and it needs nourishment. And celery actually has the right components to help to nourish. It has a specific vitamin C and mineral salts that go in and nourish the reproductive system. The other thing that it does is it hydrates the reproductive system because one of the challenges is that it's very dehydrated from the exposure to the amount of chemicals that sort of like sediment, like fall down the system and then hang out and take root in the reproductive system. And so let's get into the different challenges that you may be suffering with. And the first one is breast density. So what happens with and how it's related to our liver, because everything comes back to our liver. Our liver is overburdened with toxins. It becomes sluggish. And then it actually very begrudgingly has to pour out toxins into the body. The blood becomes toxic and our lymphatic system becomes the secondary filter. And your breast tissue are part of your lymphatic system. They actually start to fill with toxins and the toxins build up. They irritate and break down the connective tissue. The connective tissue loses elasticity. And what happens is a density experience, a heaviness, a density starts building up in the breasts. And so the other challenge here is that if you eat a diet full of dairy, it has a certain calcium in it, which is not a calcium that is great for us, like the calcium found in fruits and vegetables. It's actually quite toxic and it feeds the pathogens that live in the breast tissue. So with the breast density, we're dealing with a buildup of toxins, a breakdown of the connective tissue and the elasticity, and then a density that starts to occur. And we're also dealing with dehydration, okay? So the breasts themselves, because they're full of toxins are highly dehydrating. They also inhibit good nutrients from entering the cells. And now the breast tissue is also dehydrated. And it kind of experience it as like swelling or almost like edema. Like, why are my breasts just so full? So one of the ways to offset this and help yourself is to drink celery juice. It will go in, it will start to clear up the toxins. It will start to rehydrate the breast tissue. And it's just incredible. And the way you want to have it is 2 cups in the morning on an empty stomach and you wait 20 minutes before you eat anything, and you don't mix anything else with the celery because it's its own potent medicine when it's on its own. Okay, so going to cysts. So cysts are created when the body is trying to guard itself and create a protection against vital organs like your uterus and your ovaries, and it actually starts to enclose the toxins and a very vicious virus. There's over 60 different strains of it. It's called Epstein-Barr. And that's the virus that I was dealing with. When I found out it was Epstein-Barr, I figured out how to heal myself from it. But it's a virus that goes unnoticed by the medical community. It usually, one of the varieties expresses itself as mono when you're a kid, and then it hides itself. So they can't detect it in the blood because it goes into your liver and it hides itself, and there's no tests to determine that it's in your liver. And it's eating up all the toxins, and it's eliminating something that's even way more toxic than the mercury it's eating. And that either creates, well, it creates a bunch of different symptoms, okay, including attacking the central nervous system and your reproductive system. So it goes in, it finds its way in your reproductive system, and your body tries to guard itself against the toxins that this virus produces, because those toxins will break down healthy cells. So your body's trying to protect itself with these cysts. And so these cysts ends up almost like calcifying as well and becoming hardened, and they can be problematic and they can be challenging for you. So your body's trying to do you a favor, okay? But it actually can create problems for you. It can create pain. So the root cause is the heavy metals, the toxicity you're exposed to, the synthetic hormones that you may be eating in your dairy and your meat, or even drinking in water, because yes, all us humans who are taking in synthetic hormones, whether it be the pill or hormone replacement, we actually pee that into the water system. It doesn't all get filtrated. So we're intaking that into our body, believe it or not. And then you have the pathogens here eating this just concoction of heavy metals, environmental toxins, synthetic hormones, and they're becoming super powered, and then they eliminate something that creates a really, really harmful toxin that then attacks the reproductive system. And now your own body is trying to protect itself. So if you've been told it's your hormones, or you have autoimmune disease, because this is nothing to do with your body attacking itself, it is always attacking a foreign invader. We don't all of a sudden have millions of humans whose bodies are attacking themselves. This is part of the body shaming that the medical society is doing that is really inappropriate, because it actually creates a very disempowering feeling when you are told that your body is attacking itself, and maybe you should take some more pharmaceuticals to try to numb from the pain. That is not going to heal the problem. In fact, those pharmaceuticals are some of these pathogens' favorite foods. They have learned how to feed on the darkest, most toxic chemicals in our environment, which is why these pathogens are increasing in numbers, size, potency over the last 60 years. Humans did not, before 1940s, they were not exposed to such intense pathogens and viruses and bacteria. So cysts are a way of your body protecting itself, okay? But what's great news is celery can go into your reproductive system, and it will actually come in through your lymphatic system that feeds your reproductive system, and it will deliver the nutrients, and it will start to break down the calcification of these cysts, and it will go in and it will actually start to break down the chemicals and kill the viruses. That's how potent celery juice is. And like I said at the end, I'm going to give you more foods, but I'm kind of interweaving specifically celery juice for this talk, okay? And just making sure I have everything here for that. Great. So the next one is endometriosis. If you have ever experienced this, or have a family member or friend, it can be devastating. Endometriosis can be devastating. It can create a huge amount of pain and stress, especially when you're told there's nothing you can do. Your body's attacking itself, or you have a problem. Your body is faulty. I'm here to tell you, your body is not faulty. You are up against something that is huge, and that is Epstein-Barr virus that goes in and creates such damage to the cells, and the body's immune system tries to protect the uterus, which is a life-producing, essential part of your body that is so important. Your immune system works so hard to protect your reproductive system, and it does not want you to be harmed by these viruses and their toxins. And it starts to create abnormal cells that actually grow outside of the uterus where it should be growing, okay? And these abnormal cells start to grow and attach to areas that they shouldn't be attaching, but they're trying to protect you. And in the meantime, it creates a lot of pain, especially when your period comes. So the pathogens that we're exposed to are feeding the viruses. But what's really important to know is that, not all environmental toxins you have control over, but you do in your house. You can decide to get organic, environmentally friendly, healthy type cleaning supplies for your home, which is so important to try to think about how can you change your own environment. That's a big one that I've done years ago, and that made a huge difference. When I go into a home and they use sunlight, like my whole body just goes into almost panic. It just really doesn't like toxins. You can wash your clothing with biodegradable, hypoallergenic laundry detergent. You don't need toxic chemicals that break your own body down to stay clean. And you can use and create your own with essential oils, vinegar, ozone, iodine. You can create your own house cleaning supplies. And that's really important because that's one place that you are being exposed if you have a lot of toxins in your home. The other place is your skin. Are you using, environmentally friendly skin products, or are you using stuff with a lot of chemicals? Because your body's soaking that up, and where does that go? That goes into your liver, into your lymphatic system, into your reproductive system, into all your organs and your cells, and it ages you and it creates these symptoms and it feeds the pathogens. You see, so you do have control. I just want to make sure that you feel empowered, because yes, we're exposed to a lot of industrial chemicals that most of us, if we understood the degree, we would probably start to be boycotting a lot of the industries that are just pumping chemicals into the air, into the water, into our food, into the soil, you name it. And it's important to be aware of what we're up against. They also spray our food with them. So changing over from as much as you can. I understand organic's more expensive, but as much as you can, everything makes a difference. Every choice makes a difference. Choosing to get organic when you can will lessen your exposure to pesticides, herbicides, fungicides that are filled with chemicals that are building. And if you don't do a bi-yearly cleanse, and you're not focusing on eating lots of fruits and vegetables, and every meal you have, it doesn't have some sort of hydrating thing, your body is building up like a barrel. It's building up these toxins. And then when it starts to overspill and your body says, I'm done, I've reached my capacity of how much I can handle, that's when we start to feel these symptoms. And that's usually when people want to make a difference. But I say, preventative, right? Go preventative and be aware and gain this knowledge and information, and then put it into play, and you'll actually prevent tomorrow's disease that's been building, and you don't know about it because you don't have any symptoms yet. So with endometriosis, it's also really important to stop eating dairy, okay? Because the pathogens that create endometriosis love dairy, okay? So dairy, milk, cheese, butter, you understand. Fibroids. So fibroids are created by or caused by Epstein-Barr virus and streptococcus bacteria. Okay, there's over 60 strains of both. And the challenge, so what happens with fibroids is that the cells themselves mutate. And because this is our reproductive system, it's all about life. It has its own soul. It has its own consciousness. It is a miracle what we do in our bodies, especially woman's body in the reproductive system. We create new life. We create a new human. These cells want to survive, even though they're mutated. So these fibroids take on a life of their own. They even have their own blood supply. But they are initiated by the toxins and the chemicals and the pathogens and what they poop out that are in our reproductive system, causing damage, mutating the cells, and now they start to grow and grow and grow, and it can be devastating. It could require surgery to have to be removed. It can cause incredible amount of pain. It can contribute to infertility. Okay, so this is no small thing, and when we're dealing with this and we don't know the cause and we don't know how to get out of it, it can be very stressful and very overwhelming. So again, at the end, I'm going to talk to you about how to clean up the body with food so that you can start to fight these bacteria, you can start to cleanse your body and start to heal it from this buildup that you don't even know because you've been told it's your hormones, you've been told it's your faulty genes, right? You've been told it's your immune system attacking yourself. Shame on you. You have a bad body. Your body is not working. It's not true. It is not true. Okay? Your body is incredible, and every day it is fighting. It is doing its best to keep you alive and healthy. It wants you to be healthy. Okay, so PCOS, polycystic ovary syndrome, is 100% caused by Epstein-Barr virus. And they're fluid-filled cysts around the ovaries that also create injury to the ovaries. And they can also burst. This is like just being very vulnerable. This is what I've experienced 3 times in my life, and I was hospitalized. It was so painful, so painful. And one of the favorite foods to feed PCOS is eggs. And one of the first foods that I hear clients coming to me for support after seeing many doctors and not healing is that they said, eat less fruit and eat more eggs. Eggs will feed the virus. It will feed the polycystic ovary syndrome, okay? So we want to cut the eggs out. We want to cut the dairy out. This is some of the essential food. This is how they kept these viruses alive in petri dishes, was by feeding it eggs. It's one of their favorite foods. So the other challenge here, and I'll get into this more in a future talk around the liver health, is that there is a blame that if you have PCOS, that is why you're gaining weight. So there's like a correlation, and it's not true. There's women with PCOS who don't gain weight, and there's women with PCOS who do gain weight. PCOS is caused by Epstein-Barr virus attacking the area around the ovaries and the cysts being created to try to protect yourself. Weight gain is because your liver is overwhelmed, overburdened, it's sluggish, and it cannot process the amount of toxins that are in your body, and it overspills them, and the body has to store them as fat. They're separate. Why can they happen together? Because the Epstein-Barr virus that creates the PCOS also goes and attacks the liver. And it loves toxins, so it hangs out in the liver where it knows the immune system. The liver has its own immune system, so yes, the liver is on top of this, but if the liver is exhausted, the glucose supply in your liver is low because you've been told to eat a low carb diet and you haven't been eating a lot of sugar, and you've been on a keto diet or a paleo diet, and your liver is just overburdened with too many fats, too many toxins, too many pathogens. We start to see mystery weight gain. No matter how much you exercise, no matter how much you diet, no matter how much you starve yourself, you will not lose this weight because the root cause is not your metabolism. And that will be our future talk around the myths around metabolism, calories in, calories out, and mystery weight gain, and more on that to come in another talk. That's a fascinating one. So HPV, it's a similar virus. It's in the herpetic family. Sodium is amazing at, like HPV has no immune system against celery, and the sodium cluster salts in celery will go in and annihilate HPV. And now cancer has been blamed in the reproductive system on HPV. They have put vaccinations in your arm. That's another chat in itself. I highly do not recommend. To try to tell you that you won't get cancer if you have this vaccination because then you won't have the HPV. Well, it's the Epstein-Barr creating the cancer. It's not the HPV. It's the Epstein-Barr that creates cancer cells. If you have the most aggressive strain, and it's in its more like 5th stage, 6th stage, that's when it can create the cancer cells. But there's different strains, and some of us has weaker strains, and different strains create different problems in the body. So with HPV, it is important, if you have this, to drink your celery juice. It's going to go in and attack this virus and get it under control. Okay. Menopausal symptoms. So I would like to give a whole talk on this, but just to keep it short and sweet here, menopause is a hypothesis. There are cultures in the world that don't even have this name, these symptoms, these issues. Why? It is not something that you have to be burdened with. You do not have to expect to be burdened with the symptoms and challenges of menopause and look forward or not look forward to the stop of your menses. It can be an incredible experience, and that's the way it was meant to be. And we're going to get into a whole talk about that. Oh my gosh, that has been like, that's one of the main clients that come to me are these just overwhelmed women with these symptoms that are so getting in the way of them enjoying their life. And it is not your hormones. You have a sluggish, overburdened liver. You have pathogens and you have toxins in your body, and we need to heal you. We need to cleanse you, and we need to heal your body. And those symptoms are also appearing in 20-year-olds. So is it the stop of the menses? And is that all of a sudden why we have perimenopause? Because we're like, oh, wait, what's happening in our 40s? Like, but yet the stop of my menses might not happen for another 10 years. So let's call it perimenopause. No, this is a challenge that's happening now in 20-year-olds. This is a challenge that's happening in teens, right? The hot flashes, the irritability, the hormonal imbalance is a symptom of, not the cause. Anxiety, depression, fatigue, hair loss, loss of libido. These challenges are from an overburdened body full of pathogens and heavy metals and toxins that we actually, a lot of them, have control over and we can say no to. And we can choose a diet. I haven't even spoke about diet. The diet that we eat that contributes to this as well, right? So I'm going to get more into menopause in a different talk, but I just want you to know there's a lot of really amazing information coming your way. So let's take it down to UTIs. Oh my gosh, have you had one? It's awful. It's an awful experience. Bladder infection, bacterial vaginosis, yeast infection. So we're dealing with strep infection. All of this is strep. Strep bacteria lives in crevices, lives throughout our entire body, and wherever it lives is going to create a different experience for you. So if it's in your nasal passageways, you can have a lot of post-nasal drip. You can have tonsillitis. You can have a lot of sore throats, okay? I'm going to give also a talk on menopause, but I'm also going to talk about our menses and what happens and why we experience painful period symptoms, and in a future talk, and explain to you exactly what's happening with your immune system. It's fascinating. It is so fascinating what's happening in the woman's body, and so many people don't understand. And when we have understanding, we can work with our body. We can work with our body, we can give it what it needs, and we can then feel the vitality that we were meant to experience. Okay, so UTIs, strep gets inside the bladder itself, causing a bladder infection, and it can it will then continue to go on, and it can create what are called yeast infections, but it's not yeast infecting you. And when I found this out, it was fascinating. Yeast is an innocent bystander at the scene of the crime. The yeast itself is not the cause of these symptoms that we experience of overgrowth, itchiness, redness, soreness, odor, those are caused by strep. Guess what the yeast is doing? The yeast is growing in numbers to try to eat up the proteins and the bad stuff that it actually wants to help you keep the strep down. So it's trying to eat up all the food that the strep eats to get stronger. And then the doctors assume that it's the yeast that's creating this. It's not. The yeast is actually on your side. It's beneficial. It's working for you. It can be annoying, but it's not the cause of the redness, the soreness, the pain, the odor, and the whiteness that comes out of your vagina. It's not the cause of it. Okay, so when you know that, now you can heal. And celery juice is one of the most incredible habits to go in and start to clean that whole system up. I have helped so many women heal themselves of chronic yeast infections and bacterial vaginosis, and they're done with it. They're done with it. No more pills, no more pharmaceuticals, no more wondering, no more pain. I mean, again, it's very stressful. It's very stressful for women. It's extremely uncomfortable. And I have so much compassion. I've experienced it myself, and I just know how awful this is. So I'm really excited to be able to support you to heal this. So we are now, I have more notes over here. Is there one more thing I wanted to talk about? No, let's talk about how to heal this, okay? So I've mentioned celery juice. Have I convinced you yet on drinking your celery juice? And now remember, these things haven't happened. They have been accumulating over your lifetime. I'm 38, and I think I'm on my 5th year of celery juice. I got on this bandwagon a long time ago before it was even known about. And it was game-changing and life-changing for me, okay? And so what I want to really get into your mind is that we're in a quick fix environment. We're in a sort of false healing, limiting beliefs around take a pill, you can heal, sort of dreamland. It's not the way the body works. The body works with consistency, nutrition, nutritious food daily, consistently over years to get at yesterday's problems and to prevent tomorrow's and to become healthy. So it takes time for your body. Each celery juice goes in and does a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. Okay? So we want to be consistent with this. And that's one thing that I'm so proud of myself. I like breaking routine and I like doing my thing, but I'll tell you, when I found out how to heal my body from a laundry list of challenges, and it was breaking down fast, I was so motivated to take care of myself and stay consistent with these habits. And I have to say, like, the benefits are they're astounding and they're incredible. And they can actually come quicker than you think, okay? So 2 cups of celery juice in the morning on an empty stomach so it can do its magic. If it's diluted, it doesn't have its magical abilities anymore. And then you wait 20 minutes before having your food. Now, the next thing that is incredible for you are wild blueberries. Wild blueberries, you want to have about 2 cups a day. So you can mix them in the morning with your fruit bowl, or you can have some in the evening with a fruit snack, or you could make a smoothie with couple cups of wild blueberries, cilantro, which is highly detoxifying, and bananas and water. And that is an incredible heavy metal, starts to pull out the heavy metals and the toxins and starts to repair. So what's so great about wild blueberries is that they not just go in and actually kill the pathogens, pull the toxins out, they then repair the damage from the toxins and the pathogens. They actually repair the mutated cells. They also are very hydrating, right? Because I don't know if you watched, but I recommend watching my video on hydration. It's really important that if we want to heal and cleanse, we have to stay hydrated. And all the things I'm going to tell you are going to keep you hydrated. So it's like a 2-for-1. It's more than 2-for-1. It's like a 10-for-1. All these foods are so incredibly healing and helpful. Okay, so then we have our green leafy vegetables. I highly recommend having 2.5 cups a day minimum. They are going to do the same thing. They're going to go in and they have compounds and minerals and nutrients. And honestly, aspects that we haven't even discovered yet that go in and do the work to clean up your body and to help it heal. Okay, Mother Nature knew how to keep her children healthy. And we don't need to stray from her. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. In fact, it's actually what's gotten us really sick, is straying from these known fruits and vegetables and herbs that keep us healthy and making, fruits the demon. Fruit is the essential part of the reproductive system. The reproductive system and fruit is like the same thing, and I mean, fruit is what feeds the reproductive system. So 2.5 cups of leafy greens a day. What you want to start to eat more fruits. Okay. So you want to have, if you've been having 1 a day, try to up it to 3, 4, or 5. If you've been having 3, 4, or 5, maybe you have a few more. I mean, this is where I also gave a talk on clean carbohydrates. I highly recommend listening to that. If you have a fruit fear, I'll debunk that for you as well. This is where your vital nutrients, minerals, hydration, energy is coming from. You do not have to limit your fruit. No one gets fat and gains weight from eating too much fruit. And we have been brainwashed to think fruit is what makes us fat. No. High fat, high protein diets is what is plummeting the liver, toxic overload and not cleansing our body, which is plummeting the liver. And all of that is creating excess weight gain and mystery weight gain and fat storage, not fruit. Fruit is what goes up and cleans your body of all those problems, feeds your liver vital glucose so that it can have the energy to do the 2,000 jobs that it does a day to keep you healthy. All right. What do you want to avoid? Eggs. You want to avoid dairy, and I mean even a drop, because if you have a high count of Epstein-Barr virus or HBV virus or strep bacteria, it just takes a tiny little drop to keep a colony alive and make them stronger. So for a period of time, you want to eliminate this. Eliminate, okay? You want to eliminate pork, and you want to avoid eating any meat that has pumped with hormones. You want to get ones that strictly say hormone-free. I watched a documentary. They actually take needles and they inject, after producing the whole meat thing, they inject it with hormones. I don't understand why humans do so many things. I really don't. But I am here to help us stay alive and healthy and bring the information to all of you so that we can be empowered, because we are up against a lot. So corn, processed sugar, gluten, soy, canola oil, these are things you want to avoid when you're healing from any of these issues I'm speaking about, or you want to prevent future challenges, or you just simply want to do a little bit of a cleanse or detox, which I will be hosting very soon for eMbody. Okay, so here is a list of, here's 5 foods that will help you heal strep bacteria. Okay, so we've got spinach, onion, garlic, ginger, raw honey, and turmeric. Those foods will help you heal from strep, and strep is one of the main causes of these challenges in our reproductive system. There's more foods. I'm going to include so much more in my talk, in my 14-day cleanse reset. But I just wanted to give you some now that you could start to include in your day. And then here's a list of foods that help you to heal from Epstein-Barr virus. Sprouts, high in zinc and selenium, which is your immune system best friend. Okay, so it strengthens your immune system, which means that you're going to have a better chance at fighting these pathogens. Asparagus, phytochemicals that kill the virus. And spinach, which I mentioned before, it is incredible. It actually really deeply nourishes the nervous system. Cilantro and parsley. So that's a lot of information. Digest it, revisit this, reach out if you have questions. Those are the foods that you can start to eat. Get on the celery juice, eliminate the pathogenic sort of feeders type foods. Think about cleaning up your environment in your home, and reach out if you have questions. And I hope to support you in an upcoming cleanse and nutrition reset so that you can really understand even more how to empower yourself to heal. And I am just gonna look at this question. Yes, managing menopause through diet and exercise, exactly. And when I give my next talk on understanding menopause, we are going to understand the why. So it's no longer a mystery. Oh, why when I make healthy changes do all of a sudden these symptoms go away? So I guess it's not synonymous with menopause. I guess it doesn't equal my hormones, right? That isn't the root cause. When you clean up the root cause, you don't have to have these symptoms. Remember, the symptoms are communicating. They're communicating with you something. And the thing is, we've been told the wrong thing. Hormone imbalance is actually a byproduct. It is one of the symptoms of the root cause, okay? So thank you so much for being here now and in the future. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I look forward to sharing more information next Monday. Take care.